All right. I've recently discovered that there's 3 keys to life.
Okay.
Definitely take notes because these are solid. Key number 1 is you absolutely have to be tuned in to what your needs are. And by being tuned into what your needs are, I need affection. I need to feel accepted. I need to feel trustworthy. I need to feel trusted. I need to feel significant. I need to feel heard. I need to
Mhm.
feel listened to. I need attention because attention is
Mhm.
different than connection.
Mhm.
Okay, and the beauty is if you're tapped into what your needs are in the moment, you're by default tapped into your emotions.
Mhm.
You're by default tapped into I'm angry about that. I do doubt my ability to do this. I
Mhm.
feel optimistic about this. Um, and as anyone watching this video on my YouTube channel will know, is that it's about law of attraction and it's about the emotional guidance list.
Yeah.
So the power of like identifying your emotions is seeing how close are you to your manifestation.
Mhm.
And it's not about being so good at managing your emotions that you're self-sufficient and reliant and doing it on your own.
Mhm.
Right, because I would argue that I'm a master at emotions and process them and tuning into them and tapping into them and transcending.
Okay.
But I've hired 2 practitioners this week.
To do what?
So the first one I hired is a teal swan practitioner.
Oh, she's awesome. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so they do that really dark, scary emotions, fear, inner, like if you have fragments from like super trauma when you're younger.
Okay.
And I just noticed that I was having a lot of foot pain and a lot of hip pain. And as
Okay.
much as it was, okay, got a little out of shape and I'm like jumping my activity up astronomically. So, of course, there's going to be some pain from that. And, oh, my shoes are 3 years old. So I went and bought like new shoes because I know that can cause shoe pain. It dawned on me that like I've had pain for a very long time in my life there. And when I properly like take care of it, it's still there 10-20%. Now it's just like exacerbated.
Okay.
Okay, so the point of sharing that is that I know how to do the process to go within,
Mhm.
talk to that wounded inner child part of mine. But with a practitioner, it goes faster,
Okay.
it goes smoother. Sometimes my inner child actually needs to hear something from them that I don't know on my own.
Mhm.
Sometimes it just makes it flat out easier.
Okay.
And that's all I wanted. I was like, whoa, I know that foot pain activates like holding back from moving forward in life. And I'm stalling a little bit on going bigger with the people I'm meant to serve.
Okay.
And being able to admit, I know I have some integration work I have to do. I know I have some work to do. So my need is I need help processing my emotions.
Mhm.
And then you get to choose how do I want that need met?
Okay.
That's when you're empowered. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
That's when you're like, hey, you know what? I need some orgasms. Because if you can
Mhm.
just admit that to yourself, most people feel body shame or, oh, I'm a girl, I'm not supposed to think that, or oh, I don't want to be shallow because like life isn't about sex.
Mm. Yes.
You can just admit that, then you can at least consciously, actively aware, be like, okay, here's my ways I can scratch that itch.
Okay.
Instead, if you don't admit it, then you like suppress it, repress it, and then that's when people can go crazy and do something that they normally wouldn't do.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that was just I wanted to give a graphic example because it makes it so clear.
Go for it. I'm listening.
Okay. So that's like the first key
One.
to life is just your
Okay.
needs. Default, you know how to process your emotions. You know when to keep it in house to process the emotions. You know when to outsource it.
Okay.
It can go smoother, easier, faster.
Mhm.
Step 2 of life is continuously be nurturing new relationships.
Nurturing your relationships.
Continuously nurturing new relationships.
Continuously.
Because I think some people get caught in the trap of the one. Who's my partner
Mhm.
going to be? With my partner, then I won't be alone. Then like 2 of us will be paying rent, not just me, or then I'll feel complete and whole. But guys,
True.
divorces happen, unexpected deaths happen.
Yep.
So it's really about, back in the day, and different countries are going to be a little different. We literally had to rely on our neighbor because there was only like one car for every 3 households. And I'm kind of basing it off like America's history right now.
Okay.
So you kind of had to know your neighbor two stories down. Hey, can you give my kids a ride to school? Okay, well, hey, yeah, I can, when I cook food, since you go to work, I can cook double so that you have a good meal for your kids when they come home. You kind of just had to form.
Yeah.
Right. And now we don't have to. So I think people can often get trapped in this, but I must be alone. I must be happy on my own. I've got to be happy on my own. Once I'm happy on my own, then I'll get the husband. Once I'm truly happy, then I'll get the pay raise. But like, guys, what you gotta understand is that being touched feels good.
Yeah.
Being touched by yourself feels not as good as being touched by someone else. Getting a hug from a like platonic girlfriend is better than hugging yourself. Hugging yourself, guys, if you could just give yourself a hug right now for 5, 10, 20 seconds, you will feel better. If you do start getting like a little pillow that you can hold, or like I've got a big white tiger that you can hold, you will start feeling better. But when you hug another human being, it feels even better. Hugging a girlfriend that's platonic versus someone who will also rub your back and scratch it for a good 10, 15 minutes, who will also like brush your leg, that feels even better.
Yes.
So I think that people are often kind of like aren't aware that the part of the fun of being a human is that like physical touch.
That is so true.
Physical sharing of space, physical sharing of things, and this is as someone who, I'm 35, I've done the single girl feminism slam down your throat American thing. I like traveled the US, all 50. I went to 37 states in 2 years, traveled for 2 years nomadically by myself. I was going places where I didn't really know people. I moved to another state, 7 states across, without knowing anyone here. Started my own business, took myself on a 4-week international kind of tour. So I've definitely started my own business too. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. So I definitely did it. And what I can share for all the other ultra independent people out there thinking they have to be happy on their own is that I have a lot of stories.
Yeah.
I have a lot of stories, a lot of cool stories. I do have a lot of independence, a lot of freedom, a lot of trust in myself. But my life is a series of stories. I have no one to reminisce with them about. I have no one to, there's no memory. It's not a memory.
Okay.
And, I was on the phone with one of my college roommates sometime in this last week. And I just said, I was like, you know what I never appreciated you enough for, when we lived in the same state, in the same city. It was like that birthday party of mine you planned.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And she started laughing and went, oh my God, I did throw you really good birthday parties every year, didn't I? I was like, you did. And now that I've lived without them, I now realize I didn't appreciate those enough, and your energy, your effort, and like you did a lot, and you like made the food from scratch, and like you got decorations, and you like decorated to my taste, not your taste. And then we reminisced a little bit, like, oh yeah, do you remember the year that so-and-so came? Oh, do you remember the year you were dating so-and-so? Oh, do you remember the year where you broke up with your relationship of like 4 years, 2 days prior, because you realized what you wanted for your birthday was to be free of him?
Yeah.
Do you remember how you were running around screaming, I'm free everywhere? So the sharing of that story with her brought about this, oh my God, yeah, this like deeper camaraderie, this deeper companionship, this deeper bond.
Yeah.
Right. And sharing that with you just felt a little like, because those emotions, you can relate to that. You're like, yeah, so now you feel a little more connected to me.
Yeah, true.
If you ever meet her again, it's going to
I'll be like, oh, that's the girl. Yes, exactly.
That's a memory.
Okay.
That's a memory.
Yeah.
I shared a memory with you. We just created a new one. Now one between you and her could be made. Right. And then like you and her meet, and it's going to be like oh no, you were Kelly's like, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Oh, you were Kelly's friend then. There's like, okay, when you're sharing a story, like, okay, I took myself to the UK, went all over, pranced around the UK for 4 weeks. Yeah, right. It's fucking stories.
Yeah. I see the difference that you're making now, a story versus a memory.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So always be nurturing new relationships
Mhm.
because you are a human with needs,
Mhm.
like touch, like creating memories, like sharing a meal, like being heard, like listening, like being nurtured, like nurturing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And the more that you can start to view other humans as resources, the more that you can let go of putting all your needs, whether you're aware of them or not, whether you're good at number one or not, you take that pressure off it being on them to meet them all.
And that's so true, because just to backtrack what you were saying, with everyone so caught up in, is it the one? Is he or she my person? They put so much pressure and all these ideas and fantasies and future dreams onto this one poor person who genuinely might be trying their best at the time, but because you've put everything onto this, then they're like, oh, he was a terrible match for me. That was he really a terrible person, or was the expectation just this high, and in his world he could only get here right now?
Yeah, especially if the person's not good at speaking their needs, number one, and that's a whole nother
Yes,
set of pressure on the person.
yes,
Right,
exactly.
because we're all vibrational. You can tell when you're around someone, are they lying or are
Yes,
they just not saying their full truth? Like, they're not lying to you, but you're like, oh, they're saying they're happy, but I know they're not. And yet
yes.
they're saying everything's fine. Like,
Uh-huh.
even that creates like disconnection, disharmony. And that's actually a good point. That this is a little bit of a tangent from our 3 points. So I'll make sure to
Okay.
go through those. But what you were talking about is also like love story versus life story.
100%. Because I think that's also when people get it confused, because they mash the love and the life story together and they just dump it on this one person and they expect all of. So, exactly like you're saying, if you can just keep nurturing the relationships, we could get this equal balance, give and take, mutual
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you are nurturing relationships, right? Like
Yeah.
one of my relationships is I meet with her once a week. Sometimes we skip weeks, but we at least meet 2 to 4 times a week and we just talk law of attraction stuff. We talk about world events, politics, religion, love, life, sex, but we do it in pure law of attraction lingo.
Okay.
I now have a lot of my spiritual need met.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the person that I meet for quote unquote my one
Yes.
now doesn't have this pressure to fully satisfy the spiritual area of my life. It
Yes.
gets to be an area where we talked about being empowered. Once you're aware of your needs and you're empowered, do you want to meet it by yourself? Do you want to meet it with another person? Do you want to meet with another person platonically? Do you want it in a mentor mentee? Do you want it in a paid mentor mentee? Do you want it from a lover? Do you want it from a family member? Right. So now it could be, no, my husband and I, we actually choose to prioritize sharing our spiritual time with each other.
Mhm.
It's a choice. Because
Yes,
then
that's
you
so
get more of a what kind of life do we want to co-create? Okay, like, hey hun, I'm really needing some spiritual connection right now. Okay, hun, like you and me, or do you want to like go to an Abraham Hicks event together, or do you want to like join me and my friend? Then like, do you see that play, that creativeness? Like,
yes.
so okay, but you only get that if you're nurturing relationships.
100% true. And you can just, even if you explain it, you can feel how that tense situation just kind of eased up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
True
yeah.
story.
And I do want to also stress like one last thing before we go to number 3. Some of the relationships don't always have to be deep.
Yes, that's very true. That's one thing I learned as well. You have the friends who are just like here, and then you have the friends who are like, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, but check it out. So some of the friends that are like the surface layer ones. I'll give you a practical example. I have some neighbor friends. They live maybe like 3 or 4 blocks, maybe 8 blocks, but
Yeah.
a lot of it's like uphill.
3 or 4 or 8, because that's a big difference.
Well, it's hard to say. It's not a solid block. I have to walk up
Oh,
some
okay.
hills that aren't a
I'm
block.
just
So,
pulling your leg. I'm just joking.
oh, okay, maybe like a quarter of a mile.
Okay. Got you.
So they're both professionals, day job, they work. Point is, we don't get to hang out daily. So we're not part of the day-to-day friendship, right?
Okay.
Right. I mean, I talk to you a lot. So you're probably like my day-to-day friend. um, but it's that feeling of included.
Yeah.
Right. So we're not in the same physical geographic reason. We can't
100%.
provide that need of just
Yeah.
included, of being thought of, like, hey, I'm going to the store. Do you want anything?
Yeah.
So that's what, right? I can't, it wouldn't be fair for me to put that need on you.
True.
But
Very.
with them, it was, hey, I'm going to the farmer's market. Do you need anything? And they
Yeah.
were, no, but we picked up this and we'd like to share some peaches with you. And I went, oh, okay, cool. I went and picked up the peaches, enjoyed, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Went home. I made some homemade spaghetti sauce from like raw tomatoes. I dropped it
Yeah.
off to them later in the week. And so
That's
we have like a maybe every other week kind of relationship of sharing of food, of sharing of, hey, this farm just opened up. Hey, we just got a lot of this vegetable from this farm. And I'm like, well, hey, I got this. So it's kind of more sharing like that, but it gives that feeling of I'm included, I'm thought of.
yes. Yes, it does.
So if I get that met by them, right, community, then that's less pressure on my friends to call me every day and make me feel
Yep.
special,
True story.
right?
That is so true.
Right? We've all been that friend
Yep.
who,
Yep.
hey, I'm calling you, you're my best friend. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for being there for me. And I've
Yep.
also been the one on the receiving end where it's like, fuck, I love them, but every day?
Yeah, I get you. I 100% get that.
So that's why and always be nurturing your relationships, right? Because like one set of friends I made, we were friends for 3 weeks. They were moving out, but it was like, oh, okay, well, hey, actually, I've got some boxes. I can bring them to you. Oh, you have that extra thing? I do kind of need like a crock pot. Cool. I do. So it's not about, are they forever in my life, the one, or forever friendship? Like, it's those light touch relationships. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 3.
Okay. Go. I'm listening.
Number 3. Number 1 was always identify your needs.
Mm-hmm.
2 was always be nurturing your relationships. 3. Point 3 is start to recognize when things are no longer a fit.
Start to recognize
when things are no longer a fit.
Yeah. Because we like to do that. We like to wear that shoe until the sole is torn off, the laces need to be replaced. You got blisters everywhere, but you still want to wear the damn shoe. Oh, totally.
That is such a good analogy, dude.
I'm writing this down.
So in relationships, right? If you can start to spot that they're leaving, like, let's use a classic example of like high school sweethearts. One gets into a university that's, of course, I want to use an American example, in Florida, but the other one's in California. So they're like a 12-hour flight apart, and they're in college, are going to be broke. So it's pretty much like, wow, we're breaking up in 3 months.
Yeah.
So the equivalent of like blisters on your feet from an old pair of shoes are, well, you're leaving me. Why don't you come to why don't you come work in the city where I'm going to college? Mm-hmm. Well, you're the one not willing to like follow me. You're supposed to be the one procreating. Instead of just recognizing it like, okay, this relationship, we're in the last chapter of it.
Yep.
I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you too. We'll call
and that's again when you, sorry to cut you off, but that's again going back to the life story versus the love story. Because now the minute people cannot separate, if I take this love story away, who am I? What am I going to do? So we'd rather keep doing this thing and hanging on to every little bit, because who are we? Like, what is our life story? Like, that's how we've been farmed. We've been farmed into believing that we cannot be whole by ourselves. Right?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Oh, yay. Thanks.
That was beautiful. Dude, yeah, that makes so much sense the way you said that. And because if you allow it to be a life story,
mm-hmm.
then you're having that authentic, like, I'm really gonna miss you. Like, oh my God, you've impacted my life so much. Like, I know we're both gonna be fine. And you could be sobbing, crying, because it is sad. It is grief.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh, I'm gonna miss you too, and I'm not gonna forget about you. So if you do the life story, right now, when you guys come back once a year during college break, or if you meet up 10, 20 years down the line, and even if they're married or not, even if they're the one or not, it's still like, oh yeah, college was so fun. Then you get that reminiscing, that fun
Yeah.
memories. Whereas if you wait till you get blisters and you like, you're leaving me, you're that, and you like end it, then like you can never ever contact that person for that good feeling again.
Yep. That is so true. And a burnt bridge is the worst thing in this life.
Yeah. And I think I've decided that when most people look back and go, no, I can't really contact them again, it's like that pain. It isn't painful because you're still in pain from the thing, but it's like, I'm never going to be able to relive those moments because I can share them with someone else, but it would just be a story.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be them listening. And even though I love reminiscing and sharing it, it's not going to be that, that
Yeah.
connection. Okay. There's one more point here. Yeah. Well, okay. When you can just recognize that this chapter is ending, then you get a choice of how you want it to wind down. So you're back to that empowered place. Well, I want it to wind down authentically. And that's where you both cry and guide each other through it. You're like, okay, I'm just ready for it to wind down quick and short and make new friendships right away. You then get to choose how you start the next chapter.
Yes.
Instead of being and they abandoned me, they left me, you get to be with like the, okay, it was winding down. Okay, of course I like miss them right now. I'm used to spending my time with them right now. It's just more about being cognizant and aware. All right, I think my life rambles over. Unless you have
No, but it was brilliant. I love it. I absolutely love it. But just to go on, and you'll get those people where it doesn't end authentically and it ends in bitterness. You'll notice those people will keep telling that same story for the next 10, 20 years. So whenever you meet them and you get to know them, they'll keep telling you about who they were. You'll never get to know, like, you actually want to be like, okay, like, what is the plan now? Where are we going? What are we doing? You always get the who you were 10 years ago story. Like, isn't that bag heavy? Like, how heavy is that shit? Because you've been dragging it for so long. So you see how it comes back, or it keeps haunting you in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that, so I was babysitting a little 20-month-old this past couple weeks. And I have to admit, it's one of the coolest relationships of my life.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is. It's fun. It's like, obviously, like, right, I'm looking out a lot for her safety. The girl doesn't even have motor, she can't do anything with her hands that well except for grab. So I have to, like, feed her, change her diaper and all of that. But her forming that relationship, now she has another adult who, when she goes to prom, is going to want to give her, here's 50, 60 bucks for your dress. I can't afford all of it, but here's some I want to contribute, right?
Yes.
Oh, you're going to go to college? Okay, can I buy a couple of your books? So the more adult friends she has.
Yes.
And it's also like, think about it from my point of view. Now, when I'm older, I'm going to have a younger friend, like a solidified friendship.
True.
Right. So whenever it's a, hey, I need a ride to the doctors, or like, hey, I got the money, but I want someone younger who has better eyesight than me to go on the trip to the moon with me,
There you go.
and it's because each person you interact with, it's expansive, right?
Yes.
Because that same 20-month-old, she gets a little excited when I'm there. And I realized it's because I'm out of her normal bubble. Her normal bubble is mom and daycare. So when I speak, she looks at me and then tries to mimic my words, and then she'll try to mimic the way I dance because I'm entirely new.
Oh, that's cute, man.
Right. So she likes me just because I'm outside of her normal bubble, and I'm teaching her new things just from the way I speak, the way I dance, the way I move, the music I play. She'll stop and listen, and she'll try to go, Exa, repeat. Like, she wants the song to repeat,
Oh,
it's so
cute.
Okay. So it's obvious why more adults interacting with her expand her more.
Yes, 100%.
The same is true with us as adults, man.
How exactly? We're actually like toddlers, right? If you introduce us to more things, we'll adapt better, right?
We will. We'll have more, like, right? Like, once you realize, it's like, oh shit, this makes sense.
Like,
why did anyone teach me this when I was in middle school? Identify your needs. How do you want them met? If you can't identify what your needs are, see how good you are at managing your emotions, and like, go through a process to learn that. And then like, the world's your oyster. It's like, one friend moves away, like, okay, I'm gonna miss you. Let's hug and love. Where's the new friend?
Exactly. And to go back to the toddler thing, like, when a toddler is upset with you, Or like a toddler will tell you straight up, oh, you smell funny. Whereas us as adults, instead of approaching the person and saying, like, what you did made me upset, we'll just keep it and bottle it and just carry on. And then eventually one day we'll just blow up because they left the toilet lid up. But that's exactly, we should be like toddlers and be like, okay, you don't smell good today. Can we talk about it?
Yeah, you don't smell. I want a hug. I want, like, they're so
Yes.
like, I want a hug. I wanted it. I'm hungry.
Yes.
Or like, I would say poop, and then I check her diaper and she farts. But you know, but like, yes, yeah, dude, yes. We pretty much just need to live like toddlers. TED Talk over. No, I'm just
Oh no, but this is it was a beautiful analogy. Thank you, and thanks for including me in that.
yeah. Well, this is fun. We're gonna let everyone else go. Bye, guys. Hope this helped you.
I hope it does. Sending lots of love.
Roxanne is on Twitch, guys.
Twitch and Instagram, but rather, yeah, Twitch is kind of dead. I haven't been streaming it for a while.
Oh no. Well, where do you want people to find you if they want to follow you more?
Instagram. I think Instagram is easier.
What's your Instagram?
Even if I say it, my surname is not going to come out well. It's Roxanne Fillion, but
we'll put it in the links.
Yeah, I'll put it in the link. I'll go comment in your link.
Bye, guys.
Bye.